All right, saints, I wanted to share something that has been important to me and share it on a more personal level, and that is concerning His name. Throughout most of the world, people refer to the Lord as Jesus, as that is a translation that as the gospel moved into Europe, as they were translating the Bible into English, they translated His name in English to Jesus. His name was Yeshua. That was His name. If you were back there 1,000, 2,000 years ago, that's the name you would have heard. Jesus is not a Hebrew name. It's not a Middle Eastern name. It's a translation of His name. And like you, most of you, that's the only name I ever known. And for the first 20-some years, I'm nearly 70 now, and I was saved when I was in my early 20s, and for the first 20-some years, I never heard anything but Jesus. And from the early time that I was born again, God was doing many wonderful miracles and visions. And I have shared, and you can go look at our open vision my wife and I had of the Lord and where He spoke to us. But all I ever knew was Jesus. And when the Lord first started dealing with me about the end times, it was about the same time the internet was starting to come around. And being part of a Christian group online, I'd see some people using Yahweh and this and other more traditional names, and I didn't really know what to make of it. And then I kept seeing Yeshua, and people were saying they were very kind, very nice Christians, and they were always used the name Yeshua. And I got to looking into it, and I found out that that was His name. Originally, that was His name. And I didn't know what to think about that. The Lord had done many great miracles, healings, visions with my wife and I, but we only knew Jesus. So I'm not saying you can't use Jesus, but I come to know that His name was Yeshua. And as we read in Matthew chapter 1, verse 21, and she shall bear a son, speaking about Mary and His birth, and she shall bear a son, and you shall call his name, in most translations you're ever going to see and hear worldwide, and you shall call his name Jesus. If you go, and in my younger years I'd been in many different countries. Any country I went to, they called me John. That was my name. And when I would meet somebody in those other countries, I would call them by their name. You meet people in your country from some other country, you don't give them a different name. And I understood that. But I didn't know if it mattered. Everybody kept telling me, even nowadays, some Christians almost want to get angry about it. Doesn't matter what you call him. I say, well, if his name was Yeshua, and there's so much in the Bible, so much in the New Testament, so great much in the Gospels about His name, using His name, calling upon His name, doing things in His name. And His name was Yeshua. So I became very confused about it. And I asked God, very sincerely, I said, other than seeing this name, Yeshua, with some of these online Christians, I've been a Christian 20-some years. I've never heard the name Yeshua, ever. And I'm asking God, can you show me that I know it's you, if that makes a difference? Because I know how much you've done when I didn't know that name. And so right now we live in a very remote wilderness area. But at that time we lived in a rural area with large, big properties, with horse properties and scattered properties in a country setting, but not remote like I live now. And I'm out on, we had a fairly big property up on a hill, and I asked God, please let me know if it makes any difference. Let me know that that was you, that I can know if it makes a difference. And shortly after that, maybe a week to 2 weeks, month at the most, it was a long time ago, I'm not positive, but I'm out on my property doing some work, and I can see two people walking up the hill. And I'm thinking, what are they doing out here? Why would somebody be walking through these big properties? And they're coming up my hill. So I go and meet them, and I said, hey, can I help you? What are you doing? Can I help you? And they said, of all things, they said, we come in the name of Yeshua. Do you know Yeshua? And now, at that point, I had heard that was his original name. That's his name. And I said, yes, I know Yeshua. I can't believe you came. Why? How did you get up here? And of all things, they said to me, they look like very humble people, almost not Amish-like or Mennonite-like, but something very humble, very simple, very simply dressed. And I said, yes. And I've been asking the Lord about his name. Now you got to understand, I've been a Christian 20-some years at this point. And I had never heard Yeshua. I'd never heard it whispered. And now these two people, right after I've asked God, if his name's important, if there's something I should know about it, please, Lord, let me know. And let me know it was you. These two people come walking up the hill, and I say, can I help you? And they say, we come in the name of Yeshua. We're sharing about Yeshua. Do you know Yeshua? And I'm like, I know what you're talking about. And we got to talking about it. And I said, how did you get here? How did you come up my hill? They go, we're from Israel. I lived in Southern California in the United States at that time. I said, you come from Israel? They go, the Lord impressed it upon us to come to the United States and share about his name. I said, how did you get out here? There's not an airport for hours. How did you get out here? Why are you walking up my hill? And they said, the Lord impressed it upon us to come, and we just are sharing in this area. I couldn't believe it. I'd never heard the name Yeshua in my life. I had asked the Lord a couple weeks, maybe a little longer earlier, if this is you, if this is important, let me know, and let me know it's you. And a couple weeks or so later, these two from Israel are walking up my hill in a rural area and tell me they come in the name of Yeshua to share the importance of his name. And you know something else, saints? That again was about 20 or more years ago. And I still to this day have never heard somebody, other than seeing on little conversations online or something, I have still never once, since then, 20-some years again, had one person whisper the name Yeshua. And I don't know what it means to you. I'm just telling you, it's the truth. Don't go get crazy. I've had Christians say, you're blaspheming the name of God. His name ain't Yeshua, it's Jesus. It's in the Bible. Read the Bible. How can you be so horrible? You're blaspheming the name of God. And I'm like, no, I found out that is his name. And they'll quit talking to you. They'll go away. They'll get mad at you. They'll curse you. They'll speak evil of you because they'll say they have a Bible and it says Jesus. And I'll try to tell them, no, that's an English translation of his name Yeshua. They don't want to hear it. Some people just want to go off on you. But I don't know what it means to you. The Bible's translated into English. Normally throughout the entire world, you don't change a person's name. He said how important his name is. He said all these things that are to be done in his name. His name was Yeshua. That's all I can tell you. I never heard a person whisper it personally to me before at all. And other than seeing it occasionally online since then. So through 40-some years of my Christian life, Those were the only two people that ever spoke that name to me. It was 2 weeks after I asked the Lord to show me about his name and what is the importance of it. So all I can tell you is I come up with the word Jesus. I know that around the world that's what they use. I know around the world no place, even with a normal person, would they change his name. If you're an owner of a company, a ruler, a king, a president, who would change your name? No matter where you go, they're going to use your name. Even if it's hard to pronounce, they're going to learn to pronounce it. How did we change the name? When we translated the normal words, how did we change his name, knowing the importance of his name? So I still, if you've heard my messages, I say sometimes, and I use Jesus, because that's what everybody knows. And I'm trying to reach out to them. But I try to bring his name, Yeshua, up anytime I can, and to share that. All I can tell you is that's my experience. I never heard that name in my first 20-some years of being a Christian. Once I heard it whispered a little bit, I asked the Lord, and Lord, can you show me? And if it's important, let me know it's you. And of all things, living in a quite rural, remote area, 2 Christian Jews from Israel walk up my hill and say they want to share about the name Yeshua, that was his name and how important it is to God. And since then, 20-some years again, I've never had one person speak to me with that name. And I know that it's his name, Yeshua. If you want to use Jesus, I do at times, fine, I would say. But don't curse the name Yeshua. Don't curse or speak evil of, or say they're blaspheming the ones who use his name Yeshua, because you're going against what his name really is. All I can say is seek God as I did. I'm telling you my story. And I hope you find some light in that. And you can seek him about his name as we carry on and prepare the way of the Lord.